Boy, it is humid out here today. Don't exactly know what the humidity is, but it is just feels really sticky. So anyway, I'm over here at my grandparents' house, and I thought I'd show y'all something here. My grandparents had a little bit of patch of grass right here, and ever since they had this carport put up, it took away all the sun from where that grass was, and it just started dying off. And so my grandparents, they decided to just have that all taken out and just have it all replaced with concrete. Looks really good though. I think this was something that they wanted to do for a long time. So today I'm over here cutting their grass. Well, just about to. I'm gonna go back up to their farm tomorrow because their MTD Husky lawn tractor, the dry belts finally gave out on it. So while I'm over here, I'm gonna do an oil change here on the John Deere D130, and that's what this video is going to be. And as you can see, my grandfather picked up 2 quarts of oil and an oil filter. Got those at the local John Deere dealer. And so, yeah, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. And so, as you can see right now, well, let's let that blink. This lawn tractor currently has 8.2 hours on it, and John Deere recommends to have the first oil change done after the first 8 hours. And so right now it is due for an oil change, and this is what I will be doing today, and I'm going to do the video on how to actually change the oil on it. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up and let it run for about 5 minutes. So I'll give you all a little quick cold start here. It was last running about approximately just 2 weeks ago today. So here we go. I'll start it up here. Little smoke. Alright, so I'm going to let this thing run for a little bit, and then we'll start changing the oil. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes since I just let this thing run. So get your oil drain pan, which luckily my grandparents actually have one. They actually have 2 of these over here, so this one I just washed it off a little bit. And so to take the drain plug off of this, all you got to do, turn it a little bit, and then you just pull it. Oops. There we go. Made a little mess there, but that's alright. That's why you gotta have the paper towels. Also, you can loosen up the oil cap. That'll make it all drain out a lot quicker that way. Alright, so I'm going to let this thing drain for a little while, and then I'll get back with y'all. Alright, so I've let this thing drain for a while, so now there's just tiny little drips. So with it like this, you can go ahead and just put your plug back in. So how the way this is, line it up to it like this, push it all the way in, and then turn counterclockwise to lock it, and it is secured on there. So now let me reposition this drain pan over to the other side so we can get the oil filter off. And the best way to get that filter off is with a oil filter adapter. and it'll fit onto your 3/8 ratchet. Actually, my grandfather actually got this, so this is actually his. And it just works excellent. Oh my god, that thing is tight too. Okay, now she's starting to get loose. I think I should be able to get this off by hand, so let me get my stuff all reconfigured and then I'll get back with y'all. So here's the filter right here. So this is a aftermarket filter. This one here is made by Sunbelt and it's part number BIO F285 and it replaces Briggs & Stratton part number 492932. So these are much cheaper filters. I don't exactly know on how much my grandfather actually paid for this particular filter. So my grandfather also uses this particular filter also on the John Deere D140 and also the MTD Husky as well. They're all the same. So now all we got to do is get this filter put on. Also, before you start putting the new filter on, check to make sure that the rubber gasket on the old oil filter that you took off is not stuck onto the mountain base, which in this case it's not. If it is, remove it now. Before installing the new oil filter, what I like to do is put a little bit of oil onto this rubber O-ring here. This will create a much better seal, and also it'll be a lot easier to get off whenever the next time you do another oil change. Now we're ready to put it back on. Alright, so once you've lubricated your rubber O-ring, now you can go ahead and put the new filter on. Might want to move the fuel line here. Be careful that you don't cross thread this. Alright. Now it's making contact with the block here. So now what we want to do is give it about a 3/4 of a turn to 1 full turn. Do not use that adapter to tighten it back on, or an oil filter wrench to tighten it back on. Those are only made specifically to take them off, because you can easily over tighten these. If you do, it'll be harder to get off, and also you can actually warp that rubber O-ring, and therefore you're going to cause an oil leak. So here is my lineup right here. I want to kind of get it to match back to where it was. Like I said, you only want these things hand tight, so I'll get back with y'all once it's all tightened up. Alright, so filter is on, drain plug is secured, so now all we have left to do is to fill it up. Also, make sure you refer into your owner's manual exactly the capacity on what your engine holds of how much oil. So in this case, on this 22 horsepower Briggs & Stratton V-twin engine, it's 64 ounces, which is also 2 quarts. So this is the oil that we will be putting in. It's John Deere Turf Guard 10W30. That's the kind of oil that is recommended into this specific engine, or you can also just use a straight SAE 30 weight also if you want. Alright, so now I'll get the oil all filled up and we'll start it up and to check for any leaks. Alright, 2 quarts has been added. So now I'm going to start it up and then expect for any leaks. Before you do start it up, make sure you've wiped off any oil from where it all leaked from when you've taken the filter off. And also, if any oil has dripped onto the pulley or on the belt, wipe it off right away. Which in this case, I just had a little bit that got onto the belt, but that's okay. If there was a lot, then the belt will slip and you would have to replace your belt. So in this case, I'll start it up, let it run for about roughly 1 minute to allow the oil to get into the filter, and then we will check the level here. And that's a job well done. Looks like there are 0 leaks. Well, unfortunately, it's starting to get dark on me, so I'm not going to be able to cut this grass tonight. So I'll probably come back over here first thing in the morning before I do head up to the farm. Alright, cool. So I'm going to let this sit here for a little bit and then I'll check the oil level. Alright, so I better make this quick because the batteries on my camera are running low. So make sure you wipe that off. Insert it back in. And I know y'all are not going to see that, but yep, we're in the full mark. So this is how you do an oil change on a John Deere D130 or a D140. So yeah. Alright, so it's getting dark out here, so I'm going to go ahead and head home. Just like I said, apparently this took a lot longer than I thought it would. So, hope y'all enjoyed this video. So, thanks for watching.